Good afternoon and welcome to the METV show. I am Gina Spicer, the Director of Programs for Manatee PAL, and with me I have Adrian McPherson, the co-founder of G57V7, and Deputy Francine Houston, the Director of Basketball and the Assistant Director of Football for Manatee PAL. Welcome Adrian McPherson and welcome Francine Houston.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Can you both give me a little bit about your background?
Oh, you go first.
Ladies first.
Okay, I am born and raised here in Bradenton, Florida. Attended Southeast High School, graduated, went to Florida State, finished up at UCF, had a professional career over in Europe, played in Turkey, also played in Romania. I joined PAL when I was 13 years old under the director, Deputy Ralph Bryant, who is currently still there. I joined and I never left.
That's just great testimonial. And Adrian, you are a quarterback, I believe.
Yeah, I'm Adrian McPherson. I'm born and raised here. Went Palmer Elementary, went to Lincoln Middle, went to Southeast with Francine. Played basketball and football at Southeast High. Went on to play at Florida State. Played a couple years in the NFL for the New Orleans Saints, and I've spent the last 12 years in Canada. I just have a passion for kids, and even growing up, I didn't go to PAL, but I would always hear about PAL, and every kid I knew went to PAL, and you know, I just thought this was a great opportunity for me to get involved with PAL because of, you know, the things that they do in the community, and I just want to help as many kids as I can.
That was one of my questions. Tell me about your experience with PAL. So you did not go to PAL?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't go to PAL. PAL, it really, for me, I started to hear a lot about PAL when Francine and all of the girls they had a super talented basketball team, and I used to always wonder, how did these girls get so good? And they always used to talk about they played at PAL together since they were young girls. So that was kind of the first time I had really heard about PAL. But I knew obviously they're doing something good over there because they had this 5, 6, 7 Division I girls that would come through as freshmen and go 32-1, 32-2, and they were just super talented. So that's kind of the first I had heard about PAL. But you know, I grew up through the Boys and Girls Club, and I wanted to go and help where the kids were. And from my understanding, all the kids were at PAL, so I wanted to help the kids who were at PAL.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. My next question is, how did you get into, how did you come up with this G57V7?
I started a league about 2 years ago, and the idea was, I remember being in at the time, Toronto, and it was looking online, and you know, I had a issue with kids that were in our community that I felt were talented, you know, and I was like, why aren't these kids going to big time universities? And in my opinion, it was just because they weren't being exposed to all that was out there. And it was, you know, nothing against any of the local coaches or high school coaches, but the high school coaches just didn't have the time to take these kids all over the country to be seen. So I remember calling my cousin Reggie Davis and saying, hey, I don't know anything about it, but let's start a 7-on-7 team and let's just see what it's about. And in the first year we did pretty good, and last year we did really good. And then I had an issue with, you know, we're only dealing with kids that we think are super talented, but what about the kids in our community that may just want to get out and get exercise?
So would these be older children that you're dealing with now?
Well, when we started, it was just 15-year-olds, so mainly 8th and 9th graders. And then I felt like, well, you know, we're cutting off high school kids and we're not getting younger kids. And then we found out that you can get kids as young as 5th and 6th grade to travel. So the second year we got a 5th and 6th grade team, a 7th and 8th grade team, a 15 and under team, which is mainly high school, and 9th graders, and then a high school team, which was 10th through 12th. And last year we finished in the top 10 in the country with all of our groups. We got sponsored by Adidas, but I still felt like I was leaving kids out, and that's where I came up with the idea, well, hey, let's start a league where we can help as many kids in our community as possible.
Okay, and Francine, how did you get involved, or what was your part in the G5 7v7? Was it because of Ralph? You can speak a little bit for Ralph. I know he wanted to be here, but he couldn't because he had a detail, and I know you and Ralph was a huge mentor in your life, and he's part of this with us. And that would be Deputy Ralph Bryant, who's also been with PAL for 22 years?
22 years.
22 years.
Actually, we hosted earlier this year a 7v7 tournament.
Oh, I remember that.
And we were like, oh my God, with how many teams turn up, how many kids, and then the kids had just so much fun playing 7v7. It was our first time. Mm-hmm. So CoDrive already started the travel basketball program, which we have 6 teams that compete nationally and actually outside the state now, because we're competitive enough to step our game up to go compete against the top team. So we would like to do the same thing with football. Like, we want to build our football program up to travel and do the same thing as we saw these 7v7 teams that came to the site
So
to
that
play.
would be something like what Air 5 does at the moment?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I did was, we know nothing about 7v7, no knowledge of it. So I reached out to AD and I said, AD, I need to pick your brain about 7v7. I want to know, how do you get started? Where do you go look at tournaments? How do you choose your uniforms? And then it just so happens, he was looking for the same thing. Like, all right, he's looking for a home. He already built this foundation in 7-on-7. He's already earned a reputation. He's already made a name. Okay, his vision is the same as ours, to get our kids in the area more exposure and get them out seen, to get them more opportunities to get those scholarships, because, not many colleges come to Bradenton.
True.
You bring the colleges to see you play, and the only way you can bring them if you're out and you're being seen. So after basically harassing him on the phone for a couple of weeks, he was like, friend, let's do this. Let's come together. And I said, okay, well, let me talk to Coach Ralph and let me make this happen. So we had a meeting, and instantly we all just clicked. We all have the same passion, the same vision, and it's just like, there's nothing stopping us. Let's just make this happen. So.
Yeah. That was one of my questions. Why Manatee Pal? When you said you were brought up through the Boys and Girls Club, not that I'm glad that you're with us, because I'm part of Manatee Pal too. So.
Well, for me, I'm very strategic about people that I deal with, people that I surround myself with, kids that I deal with, for that fact. And I felt like I had worked so hard to kind of, 2 years ago, it was just like a vision. And so to kind of see this coming to pack, because I've had plenty of people come to me saying, hey, let's partner on this. And I'm a big fan. For me, if it doesn't feel right, I'm not doing it. I don't care what you bring to the table. If it doesn't feel right, I'm not doing it. So when Francine called me, I remember calling my dad, and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to be able to do something with PAL. And, from the standpoint of everything being legitimate, right. This is the perfect partnership for myself, because it gives my organization credibility, because people know there's no way you can be doing anything crazy if you're with PAL.
With the police,
so
athletically.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And so I just thought that there was a perfect partnership where, from the moment I spoke to Francine, from the moment I spoke to Ralph, they're in it for the kids, and that's why I.
And then you met me.
And then I met you, which, we're all in this thing for the same exact reason. And for me, it's, my dad always told me, hey, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. And if you aren't surrounded by great people, one of their mistakes can tarnish everything you work for. So for me, it was just a natural.
And your gut.
Yes.
Your
and
heart.
It was just a natural fit, for everything you guys have built at PAL, and it's everything I'm trying to build.
Okay, so another one of my questions for the audience would probably like to know this too. So we decided to go with children K through 8th grade. So why did we decide to go with those kids instead of the kids, like you said, you were with Air 5 was with 15 and 16-year-olds. Now we've taken kind of a turnaround here.
Well, for myself, I just felt like, once you go to high school, there are just more time commitments for athletes. They, in the off season, their coaches have them doing different, off season speed and agility work. So they have things that they're committed to during the off season with their school. But for young kids, once football is over, for the kids that don't play another sport, they have nothing to do until football starts the following year. Okay. So for me, it's like, okay, well, of course there's kids getting in trouble. Of course there's kids gaining weight. Of course there's kids doing whatever they're doing, but they don't have anything else to
idle
do.
Hands is a devil's workshop.
Absolutely.
Like
so I felt like that was the best age group for us to offer kids that don't really have anything else to do. I just want to try to build something to where we give kids something positive to do to keep them away from the negative stuff that's going on out here.
And I believe, Francine, we have that motto at PAL too about getting kids at a younger age, mentoring them at a younger age, so we can influence them, because our goal isn't necessarily about teaching them sports, it's about teaching them life skills.
Yes.
Is that correct, Howie? That's
Yes,
our
so
reputation.
you use the sports to teach life skills, to work on etiquette and how to present yourself and how to carry yourself and your goals and how to balance out being a student first and an athlete second. So you definitely, at a young age, I mean, even with kindergarten, even with pre-K, hey, we have homework. Their homework may be coloring, but you do your homework, then you're allowed to pick up the basketball. So you get them at a young age, you get an opportunity to develop them, to mold them, but at the end of the day, they're part of a family. It's not just a youth program or another organization. Like, this is our family that we stick together. So when they're in high school, we're there supporting them there. When they're in middle school, we at orchestra concerts, we at track events, we at baseball, we at whatever they want us to be there just to support them. So that's what it is, a support system off what they have, also what they have at home. So we're just a secondary family for them, and that's how we see ourselves, as just one family.
We are a family, like you said. We care about them. I know just from checking in the kids at our in-house tackle, when they came up to me and their grades had improved just like a teeny little bit, and I was high-fiving them, and they were looking forward to seeing me the following Saturday, because I made such a big fuss about their grade increase.
Oh, yes.
Because a lot of times, it's not that mom and dad didn't care, it's just that mom and dad are so busy they didn't get a chance to notice.
Absolutely.
So, okay, and the league is co-ed, is that correct?
The league is co-ed.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see, what are you most excited about with this new league? What's different about this than anybody else has?
Well, for me, I'm most excited because I'm giving back to kids. It was never, for me, I tell people all the time, I never wanted to play professionally to make money. It was always, my dream was to make it professionally so I can come back home and tell some kids, hey, I did it, you can do it. And it was just through hard work, doing the right things.
Lead by example.
And leading by example. So I'm excited to just be able to come back, be a part of something that I thought about and partner with somebody that believed in a vision, and we kind of gave some kids an opportunity for something that, wasn't really around. And to know that, and when I say around, I mean, I don't know if this is going on anywhere. So to know that we've created something together that started right here in Bradenton, Florida, I'm excited to, kind of watch where it can go.
I'm excited too. And Francine, I hate when I do this, but you are a testimonial. I mean, you were a kid you actually participated at PAL.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because you are a success story.
I was a kid that was from East Bradenton, and back in those days, it was forbidden to go to PAL. You didn't go to PAL. You wasn't around the police. They weren't our friends, and all my friends went to PAL. So I came up through the program. I told Coach Ralph, I'm gonna be the first best girl basketball player out of there. I'm going pro, and I'm going to Florida State, and I did it.
And you did it.
And what a lot of people don't know is I actually struggled with my SATs. I maintained a 3.7 GPA all the way through high school, and I was lazy, procrastinated on the major tests. It took me 3 tries to get my SAT scores. And if it wasn't from the support system that I had from Ms. Shoup and Ms. Koziak at Southeast High School, but mainly with Coach Ralph, he tutored me 7 days a week for 6 months. And I took the test up in December up in Tallahassee, was up at a tournament at TCC, and I took the test up there, and I passed it. But for 6 months, Monday through Sunday, he tutored me with math, and I was able to attend my score. So, like I said, we're a family, and the struggle is real. But if you got a support system that pushes you and never give up on you, you're going to make it. And that's what we're trying to give back to the kids, and we're trying to tell them we were not perfect. Everyone's like, AD, Fran, you guys are good. We worked very hard. We did struggle. We just never gave up. We didn't drop our heads. We just kept pushing forward. So that's definitely what we want them to do.
That's like our president of the board. He mentions that he wasn't handed everything on a silver platter. He had to work hard for it. I know I've always had to work hard for everything I've had in my life, and my kids are working hard for it. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about dedication and working hard. And all three of us, I know, are very passionate about this. They're very excited about this. Yes, honey.
Like Mr. Bruce Bartarf, I mean, as a PAL president, this is somebody that's on hand. He's very supportive. His family, his wife, Kim, his son, Alton, is in the program. And, I mean, they come everywhere to watch the teams play. It's not just they stay local. We've been in Virginia. We've been in Vegas. We've been in Atlanta. They on everywhere supporting. So you got a support system from the president. It's like, wow. And then you add on Sheriff Wells, who has been nothing but supportive. And believe it or not, I probably ask him the dumbest football questions, because I'm like, well, what about this? But he is great. He's very knowledgeable of the game. He's very excited, and we learned a lot from him about 7-on-7 through his son that actually participates in 7-on-7. So it's like, okay, he's familiar with it, so he gave us some schooling on what to expect and what we should do. So we getting great advice from everywhere, and it makes it better.
It does make it better. But our 7-on-7 is a little bit different than the current 7-on-7 that's out there. Can you explain that, Adrian, how it's a little bit different?
Technically,
okay.
There's a huge league that's out right now called Under the Lights, and I think it's a great league, but it's 6-on-6 for a lot of the younger kids, and I'm a firm believer because I'm a football guy, and I think about how I did very well in high school, and I had good coaches, but when I got to Florida State, there was a lot of things that I just didn't know, and it was primarily because I came to Southeast where they had never thrown the ball. So Coach Meckley would always say, well, hey, Adrian, I've never done this, so I don't know. So he gave me a lot of free reign to kind of do what I wanted, which required me to study the game a lot more, because I would go to him with ideas, but there had to be an explanation behind the idea. So the league that's going on now is flag, and it's 6-on-6, and it's where the center can hike the ball and he can go out for a pass, and for me that bothers me because you can't do that in football. So this is a league where there is no center. There's a device there called a QBT, and that's where the kids pick the ball up from. And it buzzes out to 4 seconds, which in football, you really only get 4 seconds to throw the ball before you have to make a decision. You have a quarterback and you have 5 receivers. And on defense, they have 7 guys. So it's really 5-on-7. And to me, when you watch Pop Warner football around, you primarily see teams running the ball a lot. So if you run the ball every play, you're not throwing the ball, where your receivers aren't really developing. So in this league, it's a pass-only league. So it forces receivers to run and catch. It forces defensive backs and linebackers to cover receivers, and it forces quarterbacks to have to throw the ball every single play. So I think within that, it forces kids to develop. And that's my biggest thing is having kids at a young age develop, throwing the football, catching the football, covering people on defense, and
so they're getting a little bit of all the game instead of just one area of the
absolutely.
game. Am I understanding this
Absolutely.
correctly? Okay, because I'm not a football person.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where
I understand.
Yeah,
so the audience will understand what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Okay, and there's no tackle.
There's no tackle.
Even though we are giving them a special helmet that has a device, I understand.
Absolutely. The plan is today is to give them because I have friends, I have friends who have obviously played tackle football forever, and I have friends that are dealing with some of the effects from concussions, and we're told to be macho, and even when you're hurt, you don't come out the game because as a player, if I have Francine behind me, if I come out, well, she gets the opportunity to play. And if she plays well, my job is gone. So we're told to be macho, but I have friends that are suffering from concussion,
from being
post-concussion.
macho when they were young.
Absolutely.
And now today they're not so there.
Absolutely. So safety is the biggest thing for me. So we have these special soft shell helmets that the kids will get, and we're working on a partnership with a company for concussion sensors. So we put those sensors on the helmet. So and it's touch, but kids do fall and different things like that. So if they were to ever fall and their head hit the ground, with this sensor, it's connected to an iPad or a phone that we would have. And if that sensor hit a certain mark, it would alert all of us that, hey, this kid has to come out, he has to take this series of tests, and he's not able to go back in until he passes these series of tests.
I think that's important, especially today. I think parents are worried about bullying, and they're worried about those kinds of things today.
Absolutely.
Because in today's society, there's so much damage that happens to
Absolutely.
kids. And because, like you said, when you were playing, it was like, oh, just get up and come back in the game.
Yep.
Well, not
Yep.
today, because of what you said, the repercussions of what's happened later in life
Absolutely.
to these grown men and women
Absolutely.
that have gotten hurt, because we didn't know what we know now.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about, I guess, the gear that the kids are going to. It's all backed by Adidas?
It is all backed by Adidas, and Francine is big.
excited about that.
I'm always like, well, Francine, what do we have to do to get the
Francine
kids?
loves
And she's
the
like, oh, we
gear.
got to have the
You
gear.
gotta have the gear.
guess
We
you-
definitely have to have the gear.
Yeah.
So the kids, they're gonna be stylish, from the jersey tops to the shorts to the helmets to the cleats to the socks. They can get the game sleeve.
Well,
they
it
got
makes
the
them
bag.
feel good. It's kind of like me
It's
with
just-
my hair.
it's
My hair
swag.
is not
It's-
going well.
it's just
I'm not
swag.
feeling good. No, I'm just kidding.
As an athlete, they tell you, if you look good, you feel good, you definitely gonna play good. So,
Right.
as coaches, we always look good. We always on our game. So you want your players to be on their game. So you want them looking sharp, because they gonna go out there and compete together. So you want to make sure they look good.
Right. And then this is going to be a year round. I know we start. What's some dates?
Well, the plan as of now is we're
Okay.
starting the first league will be in January, and that'll be kind of our winter league, and it'll be a 6 to 8 week league, and we're hoping as of now to have a winter and a spring league, and we're hoping for it to be such a success that maybe we even take it into the fall. Because of now, you're having parents who are concerned about tackle football. So, but there's nothing else out there for them.
Right.
So we just want to
Give them options.
absolutely,
Give them
wanna give
options.
them
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. And then we're going to start this, I guess, on December. We might as well mention December 30th, because we have a few minutes to do that.
Well, yeah, December 30th, we're having tryouts for Air 5, which is the travel team, and it's going to be at Manatee Pal, and it's going to be a great day because it's free and kids can come out and have fun, and it's going to be a big day for people to sign up for G5. We're going to have a tent there. We're going to have mannequins with the uniform on it. So it'll be the first time where people can see in person kind of what this uniform looks like. More of an opportunity for myself and Francine and Eugenia to speak on the league in person, because some people need to talk about it in person and see in person. So the tryouts are going to be great, but I think it's a great opportunity for people to come out, kind of see what we're about, and to hear more in person about the league.
And hopefully also attract some sponsors, because I know
Absolutely.
there's some children out there that cannot really afford any fees at all, like
Absolutely.
our in-house tackle or in-house basketball, because
Absolutely.
we are a nonprofit. Maybe we can find some sponsors to help support some of these children, especially this time of year. It makes
Absolutely.
a great Christmas and, just first of the year
Absolutely.
opportunity for kids. We have a few minutes left. Is there anything you guys want to add to this?
I think that just the norm of society and just people in general, when something new happens, you tend to wait and see what becomes of it. I would tell everyone not to wait. Get on it now.
I think so,
Be a
too.
part of the change. Be a part of creating something new and getting your kids involved in something new that's going to benefit them.
Right.
And the other thing is about, with our Jamboree game on January 20th, once whichever teams win that game, going to actually have the opportunity to compete in a real 7v7 tournament, a national tournament qualifier in Orlando the following weekend, so they can get a feel to go up against 300 and 400 other teams in their division, and they can see it live, for themselves, and they may say, hey, you know what? I want to play 7-on-7. I really want to get, that was fun. I didn't get hurt. I just really enjoy playing with my friends. I just enjoy competing because it's very competitive. It's athlete versus athlete, knowledge versus knowledge.
Not to mention all the exposure these children
Oh,
are going
yes.
to get. That's kind of like our basketball season right now. People are still calling me for basketball, and they wish they would have listened and
Yes.
signed up when you told them to sign up. And I understand too, when they sign up, they can ask what youth group they belong to, so they can kind of stick with their friends.
Absolutely.
stick with their
That's
youth
kind
group?
of
Is that what you did
yes,
something like that?
When they come in, we're asking them, what youth organization they were a
Because
part
they
of.
want to play with their
Absolutely.
teammates they already
Absolutely.
played with.
Absolutely.
So
We,
you're
I mean,
giving them
we know
that
that's a
option.
big part of
Well, sure.
things. Some people want to play with their friends, and they have that right to do
Right.
that, and we want to accommodate everyone. But we
Also
also
carpooling.
absolutely,
Yep, carpooling,
absolutely,
absolutely for the
Absolutely.
parents. And how far of a reach do we have? Like, does it go as far as Sarasota, Lakewood
Well,
Ranch, or
um, yesterday it's interesting because I had a guy from Fort Myers call me, and he's actually showing up on the 30th to sign up 4 teams. So,
Wow,
I don't know how he found out about it, but apparently we're having some teams from
Good.
Fort Myers, so I'm excited about that.
Yes.
That's great.
Nice.
And are all the games going to be played at PAL?
All games will be played at PAL. We've kind of made that decision that, I personally feel like, it was a vision that, PAL believed in, and for the first season, I think that they have that right, that everything should be run right there. It's easier for everybody, and I'm
Keep the
excited
structure
about.
there.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
Okay. Is there any other details that we're leaving out? So people can sign up now.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to run the special through December 30th. Even though the
Absolutely.
flyer says the 25th of December. We just,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, we don't have a new flyer today, but that's okay. I'll send it right over to Charles. And let's see. And is there any sponsors we want to recognize now besides Pylon and Adidas and Game Breaker? I know you mentioned a couple on social media here lately. Oh, that's another thing. You can find us on social media. We are all over Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm pretty big about using a lot of the social media sites, and Adrian is as well.
Well, we definitely ought to give a shout out to Champs. They
Shout
have
out to
been,
Champs. Thank you, Francine.
they've been awesome supporting basketball and now in football. So it's going to be great having them on board.
And the
Buffalo
Buccaneers,
Wild
I think,
Wings.
came on board. Their youth group here in Sarasota
Yes,
came on
yes.
board. They're
The
going to be
Buccaneers.
sponsoring us as well. You said Buffalo Wild Wings, maybe?
Yes, Buffalo Wild Wings.
And Metro PCS.
Metro
PCS.
Okay, I just want to mention a couple of sponsors
Also,
because it's
Manatee
important.
County Sheriff's Office.
Of
Absolutely.
Shout out to
course.
Sheriff Wells.
Of
so much.
course.
Thanks so much, Sheriff.
Yes, thank
Shout
you,
out.
Sheriff, very much. Well, we're just about finished. We want to thank Charles Clapsaddle and METV for having us here. Thank you, Adrian McPherson, for being here so much again and for being a co-founder of our great new football program. Thank you, of course, Francine, for being here. My co-peer that works with me every day, and I couldn't be more excited and passionate about what we're going to do. I'm looking forward to every bit of it. You guys know you have my support 100%.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having me.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on.